Welcome to District Dialogues. I am Marvin Arrington Jr., Fulton County Commissioner, representing District 5. District 5 encompasses parts of the city of South Fulton, Southwest and Southeast Atlanta, East Point, Union City, and College Park. Some of the great landmarks in District 5 include Zoo Atlanta, the former Fort McPherson, now home to Tyler Perry Studios, the Porsche headquarters, Camp Creek Marketplace, and of course, my favorite, the Wolf Creek Amphitheater. During this show, we hope to share information about organizations, initiatives, and resources in District 5, and for areas that I champion in Fulton County. So let's get straight to it. I'm a proud member of the Justice and Public Safety Committee for the National Association of Counties, also known as NACO. In our Justice and Public Safety segment, we like to share information from our partners that provide resources about justice and public safety in Fulton County. Today, please meet Chief Daryl Halpert, the new chief of our Fulton County Police Department. Welcome to the show, Chief Halpert.
Thank you for having me, Commissioner.
So tell us, how has the new transition been in becoming chief, and particularly with you all only policing the Fulton Industrial District for the most part?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I'm actually kind of glad that the transition is over, because now I can focus more on providing those services in the Fulton Industrial District. We're about 2/3 of the size that we were prior to the transition, but we're still a full-service agency. As you know, Fulton Industrial Area encompasses about 10 square miles. But we still provide patrol services. That's first and foremost for our agency. We still have criminal investigations, accident investigations, and some of the other things are like our code enforcement. We also have licensing for gun permitting, as well as alcohol licensing. So even though we're a lot smaller, we still are a full-service agency.
So are there any crime trends that are particular focus of the department or of the Fulton Industrial Area?
Well, I know we're trying to focus on some of the vice crimes, some of the drug crimes, as well as prostitution. But we also want to remain vigilant about, as you are familiar with, some of the slider activity that may happen. Fortunately, we haven't been experiencing a lot of that lately. Right. But we will remain vigilant about the slider activity.
And what are some of the department's current initiatives?
One of the big initiatives that we have in the Fulton Industrial District is our camera program. We hope that'll be up and running fully here in the next few weeks. What we did was station cameras throughout Fulton Industrial, which will allow those images to be streamed to the patrol cars, as well as offices. Like if I wanted to look at and see what's going on Fulton Industrial, I could just log in and see what's occurring in some of our hot spots on Fulton Industrial. And what we're hoping will happen with the camera program is some of the crimes that I just spoke about, we can address those and hopefully see some reductions in that area. Not only that, but we also have our NC4 program, which is a computer platform that provides crime data information, which we think will also assist us in those efforts. Not only will it assist us in Fulton Industrial District, but the Board of Commissioners provided funding that allows us to also provide that platform to some of the other surrounding agencies, so we can work collaboratively on some of the issues.
Well, that sounds real great. Real-time policing, right?
Yes.
You can't beat that.
That's correct.
Watching the video of a crime that happened is one thing, but getting our actual live feed is another. So that sounds very exciting. What do you see as the biggest challenges currently facing the department?
Recruitment, like with most departments nationally, not just here in Metro Atlanta, but nationally, it's recruiting. It's funny is that whenever the economy improves, we don't get as many applicants. Right. So we're starting to experience that now, and for us, it's not a matter of quantity. We want quality applicants to be able to provide those services to our citizens.
Tell us about community policing and how important it is to build partnerships when you're engaging with the community.
Uh, and I've been with the department over 25 years now. And that has always been our mantra, community policing from day one when I stepped on with the police department. And so we're still working, and I really embrace that idea. For instance, we recently had a national night out where generally what happens is the police department partners with the community. They come out and we tell them about some of our programs. But what we did differently this time is we partnered with some other Fulton County agencies, arts, workforce development, and they all came out to provide those kind of services. So I feel that's what it's all about, the police department making those connections with the community, and as well as the work that we do with the Fulton Industrial Community Improvement District, the CID. Right. We're very good partners with them because part of what they have is they have an individual on staff that provides their public safety portion. His name is Frank Mazzilla. You may be familiar with him.
Yes,
and we work very closely with him to address any issues that occur out in Fulton Industrial.
Well, I know that those partnerships are important. Tell us briefly, what is the police department's role, or how does the police department's role fit into the county's strategic priority area that all people are safe?
Yeah, I know in the coming years, that's something that we want to really focus on. We want to enhance our involvement. Some of the things that we're looking at is enhanced security. I don't know if most people are aware, but Fulton County has over 160 facilities within Fulton County. What we want to do is try to enhance the security at the majority of these facilities. So when the public comes in, they feel safe. The employees feel safe. Yeah. So we're looking to really boost that up. And additionally, with our tactical response team, our SWAT team, what we want to do is for those municipalities that may not have that capability, we want to invite them to utilize what we have, be it our helicopter, our command vehicle, our what we call our Bearcat, and those types of things, and to let them know that those resources are available to them.
Awesome. Lastly, how can residents find out more about our Fulton County Police Department and all of the great services that you all are providing?
Oh, just call 404-613-5700, and they can find out. They can even speak directly to me if they wish, and I can tell them, some of the services that we provide.
Well, Chief Halper, we certainly thank you for your service and your dedication and commitment to Fulton County and to its residents.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back with our D5 Spotlight. Stay with us. Welcome back. In our D5 Spotlight, we like to recognize organizations and individuals that strive to empower our community and our county. Our next guest is Mr. Ryan Kilgore, founder and president of Kilgore Music Foundation. Welcome back to the show, Ryan.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
So tell us, what's been going on? What's the latest with the Ryan Kilgore Foundation?
Well, we're in the middle of our summer campaign to collect instruments. We've collected about 30 instruments so far, some in very good condition, some not so good condition. But our goal is to help start the music program at the Pittman Recreational Center. So we're just still trying to collect instruments and, solicit people to, make donations, gently used or, something that's maybe just been sitting up in the attic or the garage or been laying up in the house, up under the bed somewhere. Maybe your daughter or somebody played it 15 years ago and they, never did anything with it. So. But it's also to kind of give kids another outlet to be able to do after school and just in life, period. So,
well, music is certainly a great outlet. As a native Atlantan, tell us a bit about your musical journey as an international saxophonist.
Well, I think starting off at Chapel Hill Middle School, that kind of prepared me for Southwest DeKalb. I got to Southwest DeKalb. Sophomore year, we went to the Olympics. Well, we did the 96 Olympics here, which is the old Turner Field. Then the next year, I think it was the Macy's Parade. Then I got to Clark Atlanta University, and we did Drumline. Then I joined a band called Soul Factor that was pretty popular here in the city. And then from there, I was picked up by Stevie Wonder. So I've had an amazing journey of how music has kind of transcended my own personal life, showing me how that music can be the avenue and the tool to take you around the world and give you that type of access. So I think being able to share my story has definitely allowed me to really see how blessed I've been, even in spite of just regular life circumstances or situations, and that music can definitely be an outlet. So I'm excited to see what's coming, from this point on.
So was it your trips around the world that inspired you to start the Kilgore Foundation?
Yeah, a little, somewhat. Some was just personal experiences. Some were going to see. When we would be on tour, sometimes I'll visit other schools and I could see the facility. And I could say, on one hand, man, this facility right here was amazing. This is something we need back home. On the other hand, you could see the neglect as well. And there were so many different disenfranchised situations where you go to school, there's 1,400 kids in the school. It's a performing arts school, but only 40 people in the band. You're like, something's wrong with that. Or the band director is a former graduate of the school, and she's pointing to a bass drum that was there when she was there, and she graduated in the 70s. So just the neglect of music programs across the country, I think it's something that we don't really talk about, or it kind of gets pushed to the side because it's extracurricular. It's,
right.
What have you. But when you get married, when you go to church, when you go to a football game, you go to all these different functions, you can't do anything without music. And somebody has to play it and produce it and, create it. So looking at our own stance and seeing how music has been taken out of the elementary schools, and that's when I first started playing, was in 6th grade. And so now when you give a kid, this generation of children, they coming out with iPads, they swiping, they doing all this stuff. So if you don't give it to them earlier on,
right.
It's not going to catch on. And I think we just miss, I think as a society or as a community, sometimes we can miss the importance of, tapping into the creativity of young kids. So just kind of seeing that and then kind of having my own inspiration and saying, man, it got to be something I can do to kind of help inspire them, not just by telling them my story, but by coming back into the community and doing things like collecting instruments and giving a kid that can't afford, a parent, single parent, whatever their situation is, they can't afford to keep renting it. I mean, cost of living is changing. There's a lot of things that kind of play into that. So, just being inspired by my grandfather purchased my first horn because my mom was a single mom at the time, and look where it got me. So it's like, man, well, if my grandfather did that just for me, imagine if I did that for other kids,
right.
Along the way, and just see, you never know who this person could be later on.
It's a great way to pay it forward.
Absolutely.
Tell us about some of the other initiatives of the Kilgore Foundation, Music Foundation.
Well, right now we are, like I said, in the instrument drive, but however, we're also working along with some different organizations to try to work on curriculum advancement, to put them in position. Like I said, they're coming out with the swiping and stuff, and I think the traditional curriculum has been, more chalkboard, more about just the notes about certain things, but now you have Logic, you have GarageBand, you have Pro Tools, you have all these different programs now that the kids can be learning production, especially in a city like Atlanta, where
right.
there's movies being shot every day.
Right.
So really wanting to be able to create after-school programming to help them learn those skills so that later on when they decide to go to school or college or participate in a cinema program or anything like that, they already kind of have some skills already. They're already familiar with being an engineer, with doing production, with doing those type of things so that they're prepared. Working at Walmart, McDonald's, nothing wrong with it, but it's definitely, not where this city and where our community is going.
Well, sounds like you're not only getting instruments donated, but you're also doing some workforce development and some economic development.
Absolutely.
So those are certainly great things to do. How can people donate instruments?
They can donate. They can look on our website, thekilgoremusicfoundation.com. It has some locations on there. We're at Crush House Entertainment with a couple of libraries around in the city. They also can donate or drop off at the community center at Pittman Recreational Center. And or they can call us and we'll come pick it up, however we need to do. So we're around, and there's enough people around that have lended their volunteer services of being able to collect the instruments, and we can go from there.
All right. And where is there a website or somewhere where people can go to find out more information?
Yes, thekilgoremusicfoundation.com.
KilgoreMusicFoundation.com.
Yes.
Please, thank you for all that you're doing, but to the audience, please donate some instruments so that we can help give them to the youth at the Pittman Recreation Center.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us, everyone. We have a special guest in our art segment. Come on back. I am the proud executive sponsor of Arts and Culture in Fulton County. I also serve as the vice chair of the Atlanta-Fulton County Recreation Authority and a member of the Arts Commission for the National Association of Counties, or NACO. During our arts segment, I like to share with you information about arts and culture organizations and programs in Fulton County. Today, please meet Dr. Fahamu Peku, visual performing artist and scholar of Fahamu Peku Art LLC, and a good friend for the last 20 years. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, how did you discover your passion for art?
I discovered my passion for art at a very early age. I was a big fan of cartoons like most children are, but instead of just watching them, I wanted to draw them. And when I was about 9 years old, I learned about cartoon animation as a career. And I realized that this would be an opportunity for me to, do something that I love and make money from it. And so from the time I was 9 until I got to college, everything that I did was to prepare myself to be a cartoon animator. But when I got to the Atlanta College of Art, I was exposed to the fine arts. And I got to visit places like the High Museum and, the many art galleries around the city, the National Black Arts Festival. And my love for the fine arts emerged out of that. And, cartoons kind of fell to the wayside, and and I knew that I wanted to be, I wanted to make art that did more than entertain people, but that would actually, be something that could help people, be a catalyst for change in the world.
Awesome. What would you say your art or your images represent?
So my work primarily deals with representations of Black masculinity. This is something that's very personal to me, as much as it is a necessary and a crucial intervention in the ways in which Black men see themselves in the world. Oftentimes the images of Black men are very negative and are presented in really distorted ways. What I try to do in my work is to expose it to humanity in Black masculinity so that people can see all facets, all sides of what it means to be Black and male, and ultimately to lay a path or to show young Black men that there are many ways for them to express themselves. You don't have to just, do one thing or the other, you know what I mean? Like, you can express yourself in whatever way you see fit. And so a lot of times what my work does is challenge the stereotypes that we see in popular culture and media as a way of undoing them and taking them apart.
And you just recently accomplished a big educational goal. Tell us what that was, and why was it important for you to accomplish this goal?
Sure, yeah. So I just recently received my PhD from Emory University. And my research project, again, it extends what I do in my creative practice in terms of, understanding and critiquing and, really trying to challenge Black masculinity. This was important to me because, early on in my career, a lot of the projects that I would do, when I would put exhibitions up, people would be like, oh, the things you're talking about in this work reminds me of, bell hooks, or it reminds me of this scholar, or it reminds me of this scholar. And so I would often find myself doing a lot of research, academic research, in, my artistic practice anyway. And I had a mentor, or I have a mentor, Dr. Arturo Lindsay, who was a professor emeritus from Spelman College, who had been trying to get me to, pursue higher degrees ever since I was a sophomore in his class. And so ultimately, I took the plunge and decided to pursue it because I wanted to contribute to the conversation that was happening in academia, but I wanted to bring a different and a fresh perspective to it.
Well, it's certainly a great accomplishment. I know it takes a lot to get a PhD.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Tell us about your work with MARTA and how you transformed this MARTA station. What is it, the MLK MARTA station?
Well, actually, there are 4 stations in total that my work will be featured at.
Awesome.
And so this project was a concept that was created by Wonderroot and collective, a consortium of organizations called the Transformation Alliance, with the intent of beautifying communities, but also bringing uplifting, concepts and themes and messages to communities. And so Wonderroot approached me and asked me to consider, this project. They selected me based on knowing the type of work that I did, and the stations that my work will be featured at are stations that are in predominantly Black communities. So the ML King station was the first one.
Okay.
Then we did Oakland City, Ashby Station, and the last one will be Hamilton Homes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's a really great concept. If anyone hasn't seen those stations, go by and check them out. The artwork is phenomenal, and as you say, it definitely helps beautify the community.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Instead of just these big brick monstrosities in the neighborhood. Tell us about your art being featured on the television show Empire.
Oh, wow, yeah. So that was really a great experience. And my work is also featured, you can see it now, every week on shows like Blackish as well.
Okay.
When the producers for Empire were putting that show together, they wanted to represent affluence, within the Lion family. And so one of the ways that they decided to do that was to showcase, high-end contemporary art by Black artists. So throughout this series, throughout the show, you see many, many artists' works featured in the sets, from people's private homes to the offices that they have. It's a really great way to incorporate, contemporary art into a broader conversation around popular culture. Growing up, I didn't really see a lot of Black art. One of my favorite characters on television was JJ from Good Times. And that was one of the people that inspired me to become an artist. So it's almost like a full circle thing now to have my work on television shows and to have young people come up to me and say, I saw your painting on the show. I want to do something like that too. So that it's like a full circle moment.
Well, it's great that you are inspiring other young writers and other young artists. I want to really thank you for all your work, everything that you've done, just for being you and for sharing your art and your expressions with us. So
thank you. It's a blessing, and it's a blessing to be able to give back as well. So thank you.
It's a blessing to have you in Fulton County. Thank you for coming on the show. When we come back, our motivational moment. As we close out today's show, we would like to receive words of inspiration and motivation from Reverend Stephen Wiggins Sr., pastor of Christ Lutheran Church.
For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. You have within you a vision for your life, a desire to achieve greatness. But vision alone will not get the job done. Desire by itself is not enough to get the job done. You have to bring alongside your vision and your desire discipline. Your desire is where you want to go, but discipline is what's going to get you there. Discipline means action, taking action. Discipline means going beyond the ordinary to do the extraordinary. Faith without works is dead, so that you can have what you want to have, but you have to do what you have to do to get to where you want to go to. You have to be intentional. You have to be deliberate. You have to be disciplined. This is your time. This is your moment. And your vision can be achieved and be coming to reality today. But you got to be disciplined to get the job done. Thank you.
Thanks, Reverend Wiggins. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to invite you to stay connected with my office. You can reach us by phone, email, website, and through our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching District Dialogues. We'll see you next time.